Hey there, it's Wong. If you are somebody who has already decided that becoming a certified hand therapist is worth it for you, and now you're just trying to decide what you need to do to get ready to start studying for the CHT so that you can take it soon, right? So I have this conversation with several different people, and including my own team, and we always talk about what you need to do to prepare. Well, first you've got to make that decision. And the only person who can make that decision is yourself. People always ask me, should I do it? Is it right for me? I don't know. I don't know. How much effort do you want to put into it? How important is it for you? Because if it's important to you, then you're going to do it, right? So number one, you have to make that decision, okay? Number two, you've got to decide, and you don't have to do anything. But I can guarantee you, if you make a hard decision about when you're going to take it, then you're going to work to get it done and be ready by then. If you decide, I'll just take it whenever, then you're never going to take it. But if you say, in 2020, I'm going to prepare to take it in May, then you're going to, create a plan to make sure that you are going to be ready and you're going to take it. So if your decision is, I'm going to take it in May, then what do you need to do? What has to happen for you to be ready to take it in May? Well, first of all, starting now, you should be studying, right? Starting now, because we're December, January, February, March, April, May. We've 5-6 months. Christmas is around the corner, and it's very busy. But what I would recommend, okay, and I talk to several different people all the time when they message me or they ask me, and even with my own team, how long did it take you to study? Well, I started many months before the exam, but it's just me. I took the first several months, I worked a little bit. It's about getting started. Getting started is the hardest thing that you're going to do, okay? Getting started is the hardest thing that you're going to do. So first of all, just tell yourself, set small little goals for yourself, okay? I'm going to study every day for 1 hour. I'm going to study every day for 1 hour, and then on the weekends, I'm going to study for 2 hours. Build this habit, start cracking open the books, and start now. And now, there's a lot of resources. There's another video where I talk about different resources. You can have different books, use. A lot of people love the Purple Book. It's got examples. It can break things down for you. Excellent. Key thing is, when people ask me, well, what did you do? What did I do? I studied from the rehab book. There's volume 1 and volume 2. I had that in the other video. Those were my main staples. I read that stuff from start to finish. And I just sat there and I just studied. And one of the things that I did was I wrote things down. I'm a visual learner, right? Wrote things down. So I would write down, you have to pick and choose. You can't write everything down. So you have to decide what is the most important thing about these concepts, okay? Because at the end of the day, you are the decision maker. You become the decision maker when you know what's going on. So the first things first, you really got to know your anatomy, right? Really got to know your anatomy. So I was talking to my therapist and I said, get your anatomy down, right? So first you decide you're going to take it. Second, you're going to decide when you're going to take it, right? And then third, you got to get started. And when you get started, okay, number 3, you're going to get started. How do you get started? This is where people are like, oh my God, I don't know, there's so much stuff. So first things first, get some of your anatomy down. Let's break it down. I broke it down and I said, okay, I'm going to lump these into hand to fingers, thumb types of injuries. And then you've got to know all your anatomy. You've got to know some common injuries, some treatments, and stuff like that. And then, even though there's hands and stuff, then I will break away tendon injuries of the hands, right? So then it's flexor tendons and extensor tendons, because those kind of get grouped on their own because there's so many different zones that you have to learn, and then you have to learn different protocols. Just because you yourself don't use that protocol, it doesn't mean you don't get to know that protocol. Who uses the Kleinhardt protocol anymore with the bands and stuff like that? Believe it or not, Not that many doctors use them, but every once in a while I would get a doctor that was like, I want the client heart, and you have to know what it is. But in the scheme of things, you have to know all the different protocols, and then in practice you get to pick one, or you get to pick the one that your doctor maybe wanted you to do. But what if you found that one works really well? Then if you really know yourself, you can go and present yourself to that doctor, right, and say, I would like to use this. Would you agree to let me try it? That's where you're starting to become a decision maker. So even within the hand and thumb types of injuries, we can break it down: flexor tendons, extensor tendons. And then you can then further break it down into metacarpals and wrist injuries. Now, wrist alone is really, really complicated. So you got to know your stuff. You got to know from the inside out, from the inside out. So the bones, and then the ligaments, and then the muscles on top, and the nerves over that, and all of that really, really is going to help you. So that's how I'm going to break it down. So first of all, make the decision. Second of all, put a hard set time on yourself, right? One of the reasons why I think that I did really well when I did this over 15 years ago, wow, it's been a long time, was because I had a fire under my ass. I got the job, and in the job interview, I was like, I'm going to take the test at such and such date. Back then, it was only offered once a year, and I said, I'm going to take the exam in November, and I'm going to pass, and that's why you should give me the job. So that's what I did, and then I got the job. Then I was like, holy shit, I've got to take the exam. So there was no, like, oh no, I'll take it next year, or I'll take it the next time it was offered, because next time was offered was like a whole over a year later. So I had a hard set, and I had people holding me accountable. Now, not in the way that you really kind of want to, like a group of people that have your same interests, that have your same drive to hold you accountable. Like I had a very, very high top important person over my boss, and then the director, and then the person that was her boss was coming to me every so often say, hey, how are you doing studying for that exam? And I was like, holy shit, this person knows my name, she knows when I'm taking a test, and every once in a while she just asked me how I was doing. And so everyone there knew I was taking the test, and I was dying. I was under so much pressure, but I think that's what made it happen. For me, I can't speak for everyone else, but for me, that really lit a fire under my ass to hold me accountable and make sure that I was staying on target. I mean, I really wish that nowadays there's so many different groups, and there's just opportunities to connect with people that you might not necessarily be able to connect with on the normal day-to-day basis. Back then, it wasn't, I couldn't really find anyone. Now it's a little bit easier, but with that sometimes comes a lot of distraction. So that's my little be careful kind of thing. But I would say these are some simple strategies you can get started with. Start out just making the decision, set a hard date, and then start with the simple outline of where you're going to start. Are you going to start at the hand? Are you going to start at the elbow? Are you going to start at the shoulder? I'm going to recommend the hand. Well, actually, I broke it down. I don't have my board with me, but I'm gonna break it down for you in the next video how I'm grouping it, and I'll share that with you next time. All right.